So I want to talk through today how we go about reporting on SEO. And in particular, when we're working with clients, we want to demonstrate that the things that we're doing are making an impact. I think it's a little dangerous to look at the very high level of, hey, how is all organic website traffic doing? Or how's all your website traffic performing? Because you're going to be working within specific areas on the site. And the more content they have on the site, the less a kind of total traffic is going to be representative of the actions that are taking place on the site. So in this example where what I've got up here is some reporting on how specific pages have been produced. And so a couple of the reports I want to walk through are analyzing how specific content is performing. So, hey, we did these activities. Here were the results of those activities. The second is, what pages on your site are resonating the best or starting to rank the best. So it's kind of breaking content apart into different groups to make it a bit more manageable to understand, like, my product feature pages aren't supposed to generate 50% of my site traffic. That's going to be like my homepage. And then if you're producing lots of blog content, then that's top funnel. There's going to be much higher search volume for those keywords. And so that should be its own grouping, right? Because it should be looked at independently. So you're removing some of the noise. And then the third is, without looking at specific things we're doing, is there ways in which we can set up reports to call out to us, hey, here's something you should pay attention to and exactly what you should do with it. So we've got a click-through rate report that would indicate where we might need to do some title tag testing or optimization. All right, so let's start with the first. Again, if you're hiring an agency, I think this should be an absolute must. Or if you're overseeing your marketing team, if you're the CMO, if you're the VP of marketing, whatever, your marketing team's producing a bunch, looking at what they're producing and saying, this is resonating or this isn't resonating. And that way you can change gears. You don't want to be surprised down the line saying you spent $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 on content over the last 6 months and you've generated next to no organic traffic. It hasn't led to like closed won deals. It hasn't led to new leads, right? And so what we do is we link Google Sheets. And so you just have your content calendar in Google Sheets, and then you link it on the link. So I can just show you how this is blended together. So what we're doing is we're joining the landing page and that's from Google Search Console, to the live link, which is just in our Google Sheets content calendar. All right. And then from there, we're just pulling in data. So within it, we say, well, some stuff we're creating new, sometimes we're optimizing it, and then we put a go live date. And this is important if we're optimizing, right? You want to know, like, I optimized it on this date and now it's doing really well. So let's show an example. All right. So we're just going to go to this August one. So because we know it was in August, this was a blog that was created. You click on it and you say, all right, we optimized this in August. How did it do? So in August, it was looking right here. And out of the gate, you can say, this looks great, right? We optimized, it was getting 491 clicks. It really spiked, took a shot in December. It's holiday season, so it's going to drop down. And then we're up to 606 here. So we got a nice jump here. It looks about like a 20 to 25% jump. And if you average it out, it might be a little bit higher, right? So we'd say that was relatively successful. The kind of dig in that I would do from this is, we're driving traffic to that page. If we're not getting people moving from our blog to somewhere else, like, the whole point isn't just to get people to our blog. It's, what are you going to do with them from there? So I would have additional reporting off of this that would say, how much traffic is our blog driving to these kind of mid-funnel pages, or even to potentially demo pages, just whatever you're looking at as far as like your buyer journey of, we wrote this blog to get them to understand who we are as a company, a little bit of brand recognition, but also to drive them to maybe downloading this free tool to then ultimately requesting a demo, right? Okay, on to the second report. All right, so moving on. So the next is going to be page type performance. So we really want to, again, break this up in different page types. So you can see what we've done is page type filtering. So you got blog and resource guides and webinars and product pages and demo pages. So the way to do this is I'll show you real quick how to make this happen. You're going to go into your resources. And again, what we're using here is GA4 data for this. And you're going to use regex, and you're going to click through and you're out of data sources. you're going to go over here to your GA4, right? And edit. And what you would be doing is you just be adding a new field. So you can just add fields in these data sources. Now we've already done this. And so what we do is we go through page type filtering, and you're just going to use this. So regex contains, and when the full URL contains any of these, count it as a product page. If it has demo, it's a demo page. If it has blog in it, it's a blog page. And then if it has any of these, it's resource, and then everything else falls in this kind of other bucket. It's just a quick way to group up these pages. All right, so once you've done that, you would be able to take this, and again, we're using what's called cross filtering. And so all you got to do is click that at the bottom, and it's going to filter the other charts on this page, right? So if I click on this, like I was doing in the previous one, I click on, let's say, blog pages. It's going to show me over the last 12 months how the traffic's looked for those. And then if I were to come down here, it's going to give me all the URLs. And I've hidden them just because this is some client data that we don't want to just show off all their data. So now that I've filtered it, all these are going to be blogs. You can see sessions. You can see some things have like really high conversions, right? And so if I'm just to filter by that, when we use this report, again, there needs to be a why behind we're doing each report, is we're going to start making some hypothesis. And we're going to say, man, these type blogs, maybe they're all ones with infographics. Maybe they're ones that they're the few that we have that have a CTA above the fold that pushes someone through to a product page or a feature page, and some of these others that are lower don't have that. Maybe this was something new that we implemented, and these were all legacy pages. And so we're going to take this data and we're going to say, what is the commonality? Where can I find patterns amongst this data? Because the whole purpose is to understand our larger goal here is to drive conversions. And so we really need to be looking at it with a focused eye on what are these pages doing that are driving conversions? Maybe it's topical, right? So these three are all on the same kind of, they all approach the same ICP. And so maybe we need to write some more content that focuses on the ICP because they seem to be the ones that convert. Again, beyond conversions would be looking at how many of those conversions turn into closed won deals. So that becomes an attribution play. Certainly a bit deeper than we need to go in this video, but that's a great kind of way to look at this data. All right, the last we're going to look at is less focused, but more of we've applied filters. So let's jump over there. All right, so now we're on one where I've got a bunch of keywords over here on the left side. Again, this is Google Search Console. We've got clicks, what the percentage changes month over month based on this data up here at the top, impressions, average position, etc. So what we're actually looking for here is this report's doing a good job of identifying for us situations where our ranking is good, our impressions and clicks are good, and then we want to look at click-through rate. So we really want to get to a point where we're saying if we're ranking well but we're not getting click-throughs, it's probably something where we should test title tags, look at what some of the other competitors are doing and how they're positioning the content. So we obviously have good content because we're ranking well. We just may not be saying the right thing in that kind of title tag to get people to push through to the site. And so what we've done here, and I got to give some props to John Reinash. He's the one that fed us this report. So certainly John is very well versed. If you're not following him on LinkedIn, you definitely should. He puts out a lot of these videos on reporting. He does an excellent job. So this is CTR testing. So this would be where the position is less than 7, and these are just filters. It's non-brand, so you would take and kind of add all the branded terms so that we're not muddying up the data with that. And then we just want over 100 impressions in this case. Depending kind of your space and the keywords you're going after, that number might be higher or lower, just so you have like a more reasonable data set to look at. And so what I would say is you could even tweak these further and say, like, I want to know where our click-through rate is under 5% and our average position is above 3, right? That would be like an automatic indicator. So let's do that. So all we've done is we've just changed this to 3. So the ranking needs to be average position of 3 or less. And then I've just sorted by click-through rate. And what I'm looking at is things that are really under 3%. If it's in position 3 or better, it should be a bit higher. This one's this one would be a quick one for me to go to, right? We're getting 2,500 impressions. We're position average of 2. So this keyword, it's just really not getting many clicks at all. And so it's certainly worth investigating, understand like why why are we not getting a whole lot of clicks for this keyword, and what page is ranking for that? So that would be how to use this report to understand where you need to do some testing. So those are kind of the three views that we'll look at, and hope this helped.